Buddy, so today I will be talking about protecting urban wildlife and Colombo's fishing cats. So before we get into that, I actually have a question for you. How many wild cats are there in the world? There are 41 species of wild cats in the world, and each of them is beautiful and unique. And from these 41, 34 are small wild cats and 7 are big cats. In Sri Lanka, we have one big cat, the Sri Lankan leopard, which is the terrestrial apex predator. And that means that it's at the top of the food chain and it hunts other animals, but no other animals hunt them on land. And there are 3 small wild cats, starting with the smallest cat in the world, the rusty spotted cat, the jungle cat, and of course the fishing cat. The fishing cat is a stocky, well-built, medium-sized cat about the size of a domestic dog, and its scientific name is Prionilurus viverinus. That's a fun name to try and pronounce. So now let's take a look at the anatomy of a fishing cat, or the different parts of a fishing cat. So a fishing cat has small round ears like a bear. They have large and beautiful eyes with a wide forehead with 4 vertical lines running down. They also have an olive coat with dark spots and stripes, which is great for camouflage. And they have a short tail too. They have short legs and semi-retractable claws, which serve an important purpose, but I'll explain what that is later. So where do fishing cats live? Globally, they are distributed in parts of Southeast Asia, India, and Sri Lanka. They are also found in Bangladesh, Cambodia, Thailand, Pakistan, Myanmar, and Nepal. So what habitats are they found in? But before we answer that question, let me explain what a habitat is. A habitat is a place that an animal lives in, which provides their specific food, water, and shelter. And there are many different sorts of habitats around the world, such as forests, grasslands, and deserts, and also wetland habitats where you would find the fishing cat. So throughout their range, fishing cats are strongly associated with wetlands, marshlands, and other habitats that have a good source of flowing water, like this mangrove habitat here, and also in Colombo that is built on a network of wetlands. They're even found in wetlands in hilly areas as high up as Horton Plains. So how do fishing cats catch their main prey, which is fish? So these water-loving felines are expert hunters in their aquatic habitat, and they even use tricks to catch their main prey. So fishing cats, they hunt by standing on the edge of the water and scoop out prey with a paw or two. Or they tap the surface of the water, mimicking an insect to lure fish. And while they do this, they anchor their back feet onto the bank, as you can see in the image on the right, and they use their semi-retractable claws, as I mentioned earlier, to do this. I have circled the claws, and you can see that they are out, and unlike most other cats, they can't retrieve them all the way in. So if you have a pet cat, you can observe their hind paws and see that the claws go all the way into their sheath, but this isn't the case for fishing cats, and that is how they can utilize it or use them to anchor themselves onto the bank, like in this picture. They will also dive straight into the water to snatch their meal, and I'll play a video to show you how they do this. So that was a perfect dive head first. And you can see how the short limbs that I mentioned earlier are extremely useful here. These cats can use them to grab their fish prey or that piece of fish like in this video, and use them just like human hands. And also, they're extremely useful when stalking and pouncing their prey, especially on land. So for animal that does not depend on speed like this cat, they rely on those short limbs to jump at their prey in short bursts of speed. So as they spend a lot of time in the water, they do have to stay warm and dry, and this is aided by a layer of soft fur beneath the outer layer that we talked about earlier that gives them their coat color. The soft layer beneath this outer layer is what keeps these cats warm and dry when they are in the water, just like a polar bear. So what do they sound like? Let's find out. So it's a very unique sound. As you can hear, it sounds like a duck quacking, and they also make other sounds to communicate with each other. They use hisses, guttural growls, and even a low demanding meow at times. So these fishing cats are crepuscular, which means that they are active in twilight, but they have also been observed in the daytime. There is little data on the social organization or mating behavior of fishing cats in the wild. However, in captivity, the females are assumed to be polyestrous, which means that they can mate and have kittens throughout the year. Fishing cat dens where they keep their kittens are constructed in thick shrub, reeds, rocky crevices, and even tree hollows. Usually, two kittens are born after a 63 to 70-day gestation period, and that is the time a mammal carries her offspring or babies in her body before giving birth. And these kittens, when they are born, they'll weigh around 170 grams each, and that's about the weight of a medium-sized chocolate bar. So kittens will open their eyes by day 16, and in captivity, day 16, and in captivity, meat is introduced into their diet around day 53. So the kittens are weaned when they are between 4 to 6 months old, and they become independent at 12 to 18 months. Sometimes fishing cats are mistaken for other species, and more often they are confused for being a leopard cub. Sometimes they are also mistaken for a small Indian civet. Actually, small Indian civets are misidentified as fishing cats because they have similar spots and stripes as a fishing cat. And they are quite hard to identify, especially if they are moving very quickly. So fishing cats face a number of threats, some natural and a lot caused by humans, deforestation being one. Fishing cat populations are declining as habitat, mainly wetlands, are being rapidly destroyed to make way for agriculture and development, and the increased network of roads around the island has also resulted in more roadkill incidents because these roads cut through fishing cat habitat, and as they try to cross them, they end up getting hit by vehicles, which results in injury or death. Pollution is another major threat created by people when untreated wastewater is released into waterways, which affects the wetlands and contaminates or poisons the water sources, like the canals in Colombo, for instance, that these fishing cats use to catch fish. And this can affect all urban wildlife and not just the fishing cats themselves. Pet illnesses can also be transferred to fishing cats and other urban wildlife. Rabies is one of these diseases, as well as feline panleukopenia, also known as parvo, which is why it's so important to get your pets vaccinated to protect them and the wildlife around them. And it's not just your pets that can have these diseases, it's also stray cats and dogs, which is why vaccination programs are extremely important too. So people often see adorable fishing cat kittens and try to rescue them, not realizing that the mother cat will eventually return only to find her babies missing. It is always best to keep an eye on the kittens from a safe distance if you feel like they are alone and vulnerable. And if they are in a dangerous situation, like in the middle of a road, you can try to help them, but avoid making direct contact as much as possible, and maybe use a piece of cloth to move them to a safe location. And again, keep an eye on them until their mother comes back. And if you feel like they have been abandoned or are injured, please contact the Department of Wildlife Conservation at the Deer Wildlife Sanctuary, or contact SCAR through one of our social media platforms. So poaching, although not a very common practice, fishing cats are killed though for their meat and skins throughout their range. And in Southeast Asia, the species is threatened mainly by persecution. So conflict with humans is a common occurrence when species prey on livestock and poultry. And as a result, fishing cats are often poisoned, trapped, and killed across their range. But there are projects like the Urban Fishing Cat Conservation Project that are trying to conserve the species. Urban Fishing Cat Conservation Project started in 2014 by Anya Ratnayaka to protect fishing cats after observing the damage being done to the wetlands of Colombo. And camera trapping is a very important part of this project. By setting up camera traps, the team has been able to identify these cats and understand their behavior and how they interact with other species within the wetlands they call home. Along with fishing cats, they have also identified a number of other species, such as Asian palm civets, small Indian civets, Indian crested porcupines, and also the Eurasian otter, which is a carnivorous mammal that spends time on land and in the water. They feed on fish and crustaceans and spend time in places that fishing cats do as well. So Colombo has a rich diversity of bird life too, from resident birds like these purple swamp hens to rare breeding residents like this black bittern. So what is a resident bird? A resident bird will spend the whole year in Sri Lanka, but a migrant bird, which there are plenty of in Colombo as well, they travel long distances from cold winter regions in other countries and wait out the winter in our warm island. And this usually happens from early August to April every year. So it's an excellent time to go bird watching in the wetland parks or even in your home garden. There's also a few reptiles that spend time in these urban areas, which just like the land monitor lizard, water monitor lizards, also known as the kabarabaya, and even saltwater crocodiles, who have been around for years and years, sharing the space with all this incredible wildlife. The team also studies what fishing cats eat, and they do this by looking at samples of fishing cats' scat or their poop. They have so far found that fishing cats eat a variety of prey species, from small mammals like porcupines, and you can see there's quills in the dry scat on the top left, and also it has been observed that fishing cats eat small rodents, birds, and of course, fish. The team also traps and puts tracking collars on fishing cats to help them to understand their home ranges. So the fishing cats are collared under the supervision of a Department of Wildlife Conservation vet, and the collaring is done by professionals Anya Ratnayaka and Madhuranga Ranavira, and the information that is gathered from the collars after radio tracking the cats allows the team to understand their movement patterns and learn about their home ranges, which is the area where fishing cats spend their time. And education and awareness programs are also a very important part of this project to educate children like yourself and also other community members so that they can understand better on how to protect the species. The most important way to protect fishing cats is by protecting remaining wetland habitats and, of course, getting the people that these cats interact with to understand their importance to their ecosystem better. So all this data collected is evidence that fishing cats do indeed live in Colombo and are even found in the heart of the city, possibly even in your home garden if you have a water source with fish in it. Like in this video, the fishing cat has come into somebody's garden and is about to catch their expensive koi fish. The fish are clearly not too happy and are swimming around in a panic state. And the fishing cat is getting itself ready by arching its back and about to choose the right moment to jump in. So you can see it's nicely anchored its back legs there on the concrete, slowly stepping forward. Any moment now, it should dive in. And it has successfully caught a koi fish. So Colombo is the only large city in the world with a population of fishing cats, and that makes it truly unique. So fishing cats are a flagship species. Therefore, these cats are used as an ambassador or a representative to protect wetlands and all other species that share the same space. So I hope you learned something new today, and also please follow us on our website. Check out our website scar.lk and fishingcats.lk, and also follow at Small Cat Advocacy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you so much for listening, and please ask me as many questions as you like, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability.
Hello again. So I'm going to show you how to make a simple bird water feeder to put into your home garden, which is a green space in an urbanized area, very important for urban wildlife. And if you don't have a garden, that's fine. You can hang this up even on the balcony of your apartment. So you'll need a few simple items: an old squirt pot like this, which you can reuse, piece of rope the length of your arm, um, 3 or 4 pieces actually, and then a power drill. And kids, when you use this, you'll definitely need your parents' help or have to do this under their supervision. So you find a spot and then you start drilling on the side, and you make 3 or 4 holes around the pot. And if you don't have a curd pot, that's okay. You can even use a coconut shell, which is a smaller alternative. So I've already prepared one here, and I've put 3 pieces of rope through, and I'm going to put the last one in to show you how. Insert it and tie a simple knot just so it doesn't slip out. You take the 4 pieces and tie one nice big knot at the end like this. And there you have it, a lovely bird water feeder that you can hang on a branch. I have found a nice little branch to hang this water feeder a good height above the ground, so that your pets, especially cats and other small animals, can't get to the birds while they're safely drinking water. going to fill this up, and you can see over here is a good place for them to perch. This is wide enough to serve as a bird bath as well. And make sure that you change the water every single day so that the water doesn't get contaminated and birds don't spread diseases to one another. Another important reason is so that mosquitoes don't breed. So yes, I hope that you learned something new and now know how to make a water feeder to attract more birds to your garden or apartment.